Resident Evil, the first game released in the franchise, and since I'd already covered the 3 remakes that came after it, I thought that I would rewind back to where it all began before I started cracking on with some of the later games. With the original releasing back in 1996, I'm covering the 2015 remaster since this one has a platinum to obtain. With 45 trophies in total, I was ready to endure the amount of playthroughs required, including one with invisible enemies. Now this one's going to be a tough one, so let's jump straight into it then, shall we? Welcome to Resident Evil's platinum playthrough. So to start, we're going to be choosing the hardest difficulty and then picking Jill as my playable character, mainly because she has 2 extra inventory slots which will help me during my first run. We are then introduced to our main cast of the game. You've got Captain Wesker, Chris Redfield, and of course Jill Valentine. They appear to be searching for the Bravo team as they find the helicopter wreckage with a body inside. This guy called Joseph is also there, but he doesn't last very long as he gets pounced and mauled on by some bloodthirsty hounds. The team spot a mansion not far from them and they make their getaway, only just escaping the hounds. Somehow Chris gets split from the 3 as they get their bearings and figure out the next plan of action. They do hear a noise coming from another room, in which they find some blood, and a lot of it. That's all because of this guy. Now, although Jill had never seen a zombie before, it's almost like I hadn't either, since I let my guard down and he killed me within 2 grabs. See, even the game felt sorry for me since it gave me the get used to it trophy. Oh, and I also didn't save either, so after a quick restart to get back to that zombie, this time I managed to put him down and was rewarded with the first kills our special trophy. Examining the body to find out that it's Kenneth, one of the Bravo team members, we return to Barry to tell him our findings. But then we get snuck up on by that previous zombie, which we somehow didn't kill. Don't worry though, Barry makes quick work of him with his magnum. Not knowing what that thing was, they agree to return to Wesker, only to find out that he has also disappeared. Okay, things are getting a bit strange now. Barry chooses to split up, like that ever goes well in this sort of a situation. He does give us a lockpick to help us search around the mansion. Now, being able to explore where we want, you'll come across various herbs that can be used for healing, different types of ammo ready for the head of a zombie, and other main items that will help you progress throughout the game. You'll also find a bunch of locked doors that can only be unlocked by a specific set of keys. Them you'll just find as you continue on. So expect a lot of backtracking. After making our way outside and unlocking this entrance down into this crypt, there are these 4 statues of faces that I need to find some matching masks for. I also found another key, meaning I can now access some new areas in the mansion. By the way, listen to Wesker and don't do what I did. Yeah, I didn't realize Jill was going to swing the door open that wide for them. So after ditching that dog, I found my first safe room, where you can save your progress and also store any items you don't require inside this storage box. Exploring a little further on, I find this broken shotgun which can't be fixed. That's a bummer. I then find a map of the first floor, meaning if I get a bit stuck on where to go, I can just see what rooms I haven't fully searched yet. Then stumbling into this room that has an actual working shotgun on the wall, this is where I can get a missable trophy. So instead of switching the 2 shotguns over, I sprung a trap in another room where Jill is trapped and about to get crushed. Now, if this was Chris, he would have been killed. But for Jill, Barry arrives at the perfect time and manages to pull her to safety from becoming a tasty Jill sandwich, which this unlocks the what a great guy trophy, because he is a pretty great guy. Then, after using this whistle to lure this dog towards me, killing it allows me to grab its collar. Inspecting it further, I find an incomplete key. Then by switching it with this other key, I'm now able to escape this trap room unscathed. But I ended up actually running into Barry again. I'm very unsure on how he's getting into these locked areas, but hey, I won't ask any questions. Seeing Forrest, another member of the Bravo team, ripped to shreds. Yeah, I'm not having any luck with these guys, am I? The only good thing that comes from this is this handy grenade launcher. Yeah, definitely not going to say no to that. Actually, I take that back, since I find this guy called Richard, who appears to be alive, but only just hanging on to life, as he says that his wounds are from the attacks of a snake. Damn, how big of a snake are we talking? Appearing to be poisoned as well, I remember there being some serums back in one of the safe rooms, but blocking my path was a new enemy type, a crimson head. This is a more lethal version of a normal zombie. See, I ain't taking any chances, so I tried out my brand new grenade launcher, and easy with 2 shots, I killed the crimson head and got the seeing red trophy. Unfortunately, I wasn't quick enough as I returned to Richard with the serum, only to find that he had died from the poison. Oops. I mean, I guess I could have been a little bit quicker, but hey, I get another trophy shortly after, so this one's for you, Richard. So the reason for zombies becoming Crimson Heads is because they aren't fully killed with bullets. That only works with burning them. So using this lighter and some kerosene, I'm not taking any chances with this zombie springing back to life. Pressing onwards, once I figured out this clock puzzle, I managed to get the shield mansion key. Now I was able to access even more areas of the mansion. I could now start making some progress towards the crypt puzzle that I came across earlier. So after solving this painting puzzle, I managed to grab one out of the 4 masks. Then shortly after, I found the second mask, which was inside this puzzle box, which wasn't too hard to open. Then I decided to see what all the fuss was about with this big snake business. Okay, Richard wasn't playing around. That is a big snake. I'll be honest, I may have lost my cool for a second, as I managed to grab the third mask that Yawn was guarding and quickly got the hell out of there. Of course, I didn't know that there was a trophy for killing Yawn, so I'll get that on my Chris run. Then for the 4th and final mask, it took me an ungodly amount of time to realise that this bag of fertiliser was used to kill these vines, preventing me from grabbing the 4th mask. Yeah, it wasn't my dumbest moment I've had in the game, but it's definitely up there. So after grabbing the final mask, I head back to the crypt and placed it in the final slot, opening the crypt and releasing the prototype 1 Crimson Head onto me, but weirdly killing it without any damage taken, thanks to my shotgun. This unlocked the Gravedigger trophy, and I also found this metal object which I knew exactly where this slotted. Now, for the first time, I was actually able to explore outside the mansion, but a creepy forest and a spooky looking cabin wasn't my first choice of scenery I wanted. The cabin appeared to be empty, and since there was a typewriter and a storage box at first, I thought, oh, it's a safe place. Nope. Being knocked out and waking up shortly after, this thing, yeah, not sure what to call it, was blocking my escape. Turns out you couldn't kill it, but you could knock it down, giving me a chance to get out of there. Hopefully I don't need to return here again. Surely not, right? I then made my way to some sort of residence. Like the mansion, this was my next area of the game to explore. And you thought zombies were annoying? Well, part of the building is infested with bees that will poison you, hence the sudden spread of blue herbs which act as a cure for them. Jill then hears a conversation on the other side of this door. Only able to hear one of the voices, she enters to see Barry. Mate, what on earth are you doing here? Barry doesn't seem quite right and is acting very weird and talking to himself, so he leaves in a hurry to get some fresh air. Something's definitely up. Discovering a ladder in that same room, Jill heads down to find herself in some sort of underground facility, flooded and filled with sharks. Okay game, just throw in any enemies you like, why don't you? Unfortunately, I came all the way down here to find a locked door that I didn't have a key for, so I would have to return later. Let's explore a different part of the residence, shall we? Surely nothing's worse than the sharks, right? Oh, massive spiders. Guess I spoke too soon. Now these aren't that bad, but they can also poison you too, so be wary of them. I end up finding the lab key, so I can now head back down and swim with the sharks again. Okay, I said swimming, not dying. Unlocking the door, I end up in some sort of control room, which sets an alarm off as one of the sharks tries to break the window. Reaching 90% critical, I managed to reset the lockdown and drain the water, allowing me to escape to the bottom of this water tank. Then trapped on this platform by the Mother Neptune shark, my only way of escape was to electrocute her. Doing that gave me the Deep 6 trophy. Along with that, I picked up another residence key. Now I'm able to access the room where the bees are coming from, but I do manage to grab this insecticide spray, which I can use a bit later. Finding myself in this room filled with a bunch of empty bottles, using my keen math skills, I combine these correct chemicals together, making something called the V-Jolt, whatever that is. Then after killing the beehive and grabbing the last residence key, the last area I was yet to access was the home of the overgrown plant called Plant 42. So after messing around and making no progress with it at all, turns out you can use the V-Jolt on the root of the plant located in the underground facility. Me not using my brain and figuring this out, I resorted to good old-fashioned bullets, which my magnum did the trick and killed the plant. My reward for this was the very last mansion key, which also gave me the Keymaster trophy. So I guess it's back to the mansion, but not before running into Wesker, who mentions about Barry's weirdness that I picked up on earlier. He orders us to search the rest of the mansion, which we can now do, and he heads off. But as she heads back, she finds a Star's radio left on the ground. I wonder whose that could be. Unfortunately, it's not a warm welcome for us back at the mansion, since now I must deal with these reptile-like creatures called hunters. Although they are quicker and deadlier than zombies, they still ain't a match for my grenade launcher. So with 2 rounds, I killed it and proved who the hunter is now. Just to top it off, the place is now swarmed with them. Great. Speaking of reptiles, oh yeah, I forgot about Yawn. This time there is no getting by that easily. We gotta kill him for good. So using this bookcase to lap around is your best way of avoiding him, since he can actually one-shot you if you get too close to him. Best to stay behind him and damage him that way. To be honest, he doesn't take a lot of shots to kill. So once I did enough damage to him, I got the Giant Snake Ain't Got Nothing trophy. So then pressing on, I found this battery which I was able to use to power up this elevator, opening up the entrance to the mines. Not the worst location for me, but it's a close second next to any sewer section in any RE game. Hearing a faint voice, Jill recognizes it to be Enrico, finally a STARS member that doesn't seem to be dead or dying. He quickly mentions about someone being a traitor within the group, before then being shot in the chest by an unknown assailant. Maybe it was this hunter that scared the absolute shit out of me. I doubt it. Seems like a professional was involved. So these mines are filled with all my favorite things in the world. Boulder traps that make me feel like I'm in a Crash Bandicoot game. And an even bigger spider that made me feel like I just booted up a fresh playthrough of Skyrim. Hey, at least I got the spider sense trophy once I killed it. Then, just as I was about to take this elevator even deeper down, Barry shows up after hearing a strange noise. You sure you're not hearing stuff again, Barry? I mean, it wouldn't surprise me of how suspicious you've been acting. We take the elevator down together, but he insists on us heading on while he waits there and secures our exit. Mate, why is Jill doing all the heavy lifting? Turns out that creature thing that knocked us out earlier is also lurking away down here. Seeing that there isn't really much else down here, Jill returns to the elevator, only to find Barry taking it back to the top. Mate, really? After finding a different way out, Jill ends up in some sort of living space. I mean, I wouldn't stay down here, but that's just me. Don't worry though, because after climbing up this ladder, we actually loop back to the cabin that we were in earlier. So, returning to the mansion for a final time, make sure you visit this small room that holds a lion statue, because once you insert both the blue and yellow gems in its eyes, you'll be able to grab this MO disc, the first out of 3 that you need for an endgame trophy. Then after finding this emblem key, I can now access this office where I found another metal object, again knowing exactly where the 2 of these fitted, the locked gate underneath the stairs. Venturing further down, I found the scumbag Barry, who is shocked to see us alive. He tries to put his gun on Jill, but she is way too quick for him. Okay, now that was smooth. As Barry is about to explain his actions, that creature shows up again and traps the 2. He ends up pleading for his gun back to help, but the game actually gives you the option to do so or not. Now, a lot of you may hate me for this, but I chose not to, unaware that I had basically just killed him, as he gets pelted off the side and into the depths below, dropping a picture of his family. Now, although I did mess up, I kind of redeemed myself as the creature also killed me as well. This allowed me to retry that entire part so that I could save Barry instead. Even better, I got a trophy for trusting him, so that worked out perfectly. Unfortunately though, this ended up with Barry knocking the creature off the edge. Clinging on for dear life, I finished the job. I'm wanting to, but I didn't really have any other choice. We head further up the passage to the surface and soon end up in the very last area of the game, which is the laboratory, which gives us a trophy for that too, where the magic happens. Now, as expected, the hallways are swarming with the scientists that once worked down here, suffering the same fate as everyone else has. There's also this locked door which will only open with the MO discs that I came across earlier, with the second one being found just as you enter into the lab. You'll find 3 of these passcode transmitters that will unlock each lock. Now, you may think, what's behind this door? Well, we'll find out slightly later. Inside one of the rooms, there is a projector that shows some of the familiar foes that I have fought already. Don't recognize this guy though. Whoever he is, he does not look friendly. There's also a secret room where I can view Kenneth's recording to see what happened to him. Ah, a zombie. Who would have known? Grabbing the lab key as well, I accessed some more locked areas where I ran into this disgusting looking bug. Oh, just makes my skin crawl. Hey, at least the second passcode transmitter was here too. So that's 2 locks down. Now, you'll come across your very last safe spot of the game. Now, make sure you make a separate save since there are some end game trophies that require you to play the game multiple times. Finding the 3rd transmitter and unlocking the final lock, let's find out what's behind this door. Oh shit, hey Chris. How the hell did you end up locked in here? Annoyingly, the door won't budge, so I'm gonna have to return later once I found a way to unlock it.
I'll be back to get you out.
Okay, no sightseeing though.
Just before taking this elevator, Barry shows up again, wanting to join us, but after that last stint, I'm not so sure that I can trust him. Oh, damn it, Barry. Even Wesker's up to no good too. So it turns out Wesker is the traitor behind this entire operation, and Barry has just been his pawn since his family's in danger, so he had no choice but to help him. Now, what was Wesker up to all this time? Yeah, remember that picture from that slideshow earlier? This is Tyrant, a human bioweapon which was the result of a prototype parasite that was incubating inside its host for 21 years.
It's magnificent.
Not knowing what Wesker plans to use it for, Barry shoots Wesker, saving Jill as he can't turn his back on his friends. See, he's a good guy deep down. Wesker ends up surviving the bullet and reaches for the console, as he manages to release Tyrant. Funny thing is though, he goes straight for Wesker, knocking him out but then doing the same to Barry shortly after, making it a one-on-one fight with Jill. Now, as with any other fight, avoiding Tyrant's swings and using my magnum shots and grenade rounds, you can put him down quite easily. Maybe too easily. Rushing over to Barry to see that he is alright, Wesker is nowhere to be seen. So, battered and bruised, the two decide to finally escape this hellhole, and quick, since Wesker has somehow activated a self-destruct alarm. But remember, let's not forget Chris though, as that self-destruct alarm has also released all the locks in the facility. So now being able to access Chris's cell. Sorry about the wait there, buds. Now there are trophies tied to escaping with everyone, but also with just Jill. Hence why, as I said, you can load that previous save and repeat this process. Making it to the roof, Jill signals Brad in his helicopter. So it looks like they're going to make it out without any problems. Why did they have to jinx it? I knew that fight was too easy. So damaging Tyrant the same way we did before, but making sure that Barry and Chris don't get killed in the process, otherwise you'll miss those trophies. After doing so much damage to him, Brad comes in clutch as he drops a tasty looking rocket launcher for us. And with one shot, obliterating Tyrant for good. With both the Alpha Team's finest and I'm a Member of Stars trophies popping, for finishing the game as Jill, whilst also saving both Chris and Barry, Brad picks the three of them up as they fly away to safety, with the mansion blowing up into smithereens. Then shortly after being shown my playthrough stats, I also got the 3 trophies for playing the game on very easy, and normal difficulty. So with a good chunk of trophies done, now I need to play through the game a second time, this time playing as Chris Redfield. The game is pretty much the same apart from some minor changes in the story, plus with some extra trophies tied to Chris, so I'll run through the game again only covering those points. So the game starts off the same, apart from the fact that Barry is the one who gets split up from the 3. Then after finding Kenneth getting his insides turned inside out, you return to find Wesker and Jill gone, with only a pistol laying where they stood. Huh, I wonder what happened. Then fast forwarding all the way to where we find Richard. This time he isn't alone. Bravo Team's medical expert Rebecca is there tending to his wounds. Now this time I promise I'm going to be as fast as possible getting the serum for Richard. Luckily this time around I didn't skip leg day, as I returned to find Richard in time to administer the serum. They both take Richard back to the safe room so that he can recover. Then for saving him I got the delaying the inevitable trophy. Then shortly after that I managed to kill these 2 zombies so they were laying beside each other, meaning I could burn both of them at the same time, thus unlocking the break out the marshmallows trophy. Next up, it's Chris's turn to take on Yawn, but this time we are going to bring the fight to him, since if you do a certain amount of damage to him in the first fight, you'll end up scaring him off, allowing you to grab the mask freely, but also getting the not waiting to excel trophy. Then we unlock a few trophies just by repeating some of the same steps that we did during Jill's playthrough. So we hear Rebecca's screams from the study room upstairs. You'll find her about to be attacked by a hunter. So by saving her, I got the trophy, that was nice of you. Then fast forwarding to Yawn's second fight, this time around when you pick up the blue book containing the wolf medal, you'll get the written word is dead trophy. Then instead of Barry, Wesker joins you in fighting against Lisa down in the altar. Once you kill her and speak to Wesker after, who tells you to continue while he investigates the area a little further, you'll unlock the trophy and end to a poor girl's misery. Now onto the lab section. Since we are playing as Chris, you would have guessed correctly in Jill being the one locked away. So we are required to save her later. Confronting Wesker again, this time Rebecca joins you, but unfortunately she takes a bullet to the chest from Wesker. Oh damn it, my trophy. Don't worry though, she's wearing a bulletproof vest. That's impressive for an 18-year-old to be unharmed from the impact of that. Discovering there are loads of Tyrant viruses still in the lab, Rebecca wants to blow it up. So as she heads off to activate the self-destruct, Chris pays Jill a visit since the lock to her cell has now unlocked. So rescuing her unlocks the sorry I made you wait trophy. Now with everything set up for the ending, we blow up Tyrant for a second time, obtaining the trophies You the Man Chris for finishing the game as Chris, The Nightmare Ends for rescuing both Jill and Rebecca, and then finally the We're in This Together trophy for finishing the game with both Jill and Chris. Now with both those playthroughs done, I chose to tackle the 2 speedrun trophies since I knew that these were both going to be very challenging. But after playing through the game twice already, the locations for all the items were very fresh in my brain, so I knew I wasn't going to have a problem with them. Now I needed to complete the game in under 5 hours for one of the trophies and then under 3 hours for the other, so playing on very easy made the run as easy as it could be. I did choose to not save anyone this time because that makes the ending a lot quicker, avoiding the Tyrant fight, which meant that I got the trophy Every Woman for Herself. But then as the clock ticked down, I was slow by just over 30 minutes, so I did get the Racing and Pacing trophy. Yeah, a tiny bit annoying that I had to do another playthrough, but second time around I managed to do it. Only just though. Yeah, as you can tell, I don't do too well under pressure. Now with both of those done, you'll get 2 bonus weapons after completing them. These happen to be the very last 2 weapons that I was missing, missing. So this unlocked the Starsnell trophy for obtaining every weapon in the game. Next up, I decided to tackle both the hard and real survivor difficulties, with a trophy tied to each of them. Yeah, thank God that they stack. Now, real survivor is the same difficulty as hard, but on top of that, items and resources are a lot scarcer, and just to top things off, all the storage boxes are not connected, meaning you must be on top of your game with your item management. Now, along with this, I also chose to go after the Every Nook and Cranny trophy, which says that you need to visit all places on the map. But this is a tiny bit misleading, since for the trophy to unlock, you actually need to pick up every item in the game, leaving no red areas on your map at all. So my best tip for this difficulty is just try and run past as many zombies as you can without being harmed, since you'll need as much ammo as you can get for the hunters and bosses that you'll face later. Now, although this playthrough did take me a lot longer than the previous ones, I didn't really struggle as much as I thought I would. So being as thorough as I could, I reached the rooftop, being my final area, which popped the Every Nook and Cranny trophy. Then finishing the game for a 5th time, I obtained both difficulty trophies shortly after. Now for the penultimate playthrough. So this time I chose to go for the Ink is for Squids trophy, which means I had to complete another run without saving all in one sitting. Yeah, luckily the game only takes a few hours to complete. During this, I managed to get the last 2 Chris specific trophies done as well. The first, where getting deliberately bit by Yawn and being poisoned, you then control Rebecca, in repeating the same steps as you would do to save Richard, giving Chris the serum and saving him. Bravo, Rebecca, you did good. Unfortunately though, we can't return the favour, as I have to finish this playthrough without saving anyone. Sorry guys, the game's forcing me to. So as we shoot the flares, signaling Brad for another time, we get the Every Man for Himself trophy. Then shortly after, since I made 0 saves, the Ink is for Squids trophy pops as well. Now finally onto the very last run of this platinum playthrough, and I decided to not make it easy for myself. So along with the other difficulties, there was still one more that I hadn't attempted yet. This being the invisible enemy mode. Yep, you heard me right. Every single enemy and boss were completely invisible. And just to make it even more challenging, I chose to go after the CQC for the win trophy at the same time, meaning I could only use a knife for the entire game. Now, for most of it, it wasn't as bad as it sounds. I mean, the prototype Crimson Head did cause me some minor problems. Yawn's fight made me think I was stabbing him with a butter knife, since it took me about 18 years to kill him. And Tyrant, well, I think he can speak for himself. Good thing that I could see his reflection in the floor though. That helped me massively. So after killing him for a final time and escaping this hellhole, the game ends as we get the Ghost of a Chance trophy for completing it on invisible enemy modes. Also then getting the CQC for the win trophy. And since we completed that mode, it unlocked our final costume and trophy, Passion for Fashion, giving us that sweet Platinum trophy. So with Resident Evil 1 added to my collection of Platinum Resident Evil games, the question is, which one do I tackle next? Should it be Resident Evil 5? Maybe I tackle some of the non-mainstream games like RE0 or Code Veronica. I know a few of you have been asking for that one. Or maybe I jump into the shoes of Ethan Winters and try to go for the Platinum RE7. As always, let me know what you would like to see. What I can promise though is separate ways will be coming as my next Platinum playthrough, so keep an eye out for when that video drops. As always, if you did enjoy this video, please make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel while you're at it, so you can keep up to date with my future Platinum playthroughs. If this is your first Resident Evil video that you're watching of mine, make sure you check out RE2, 3 and 4, which I've also done Platinum playthroughs on. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video.